Discovering the Ultimate Universe has been a hell of a journey. What started as pure curiosity resulted in a new adoration for Marvel Comics. I felt excited to read Marvel for the first time in a while. Prior to this, I'd occasionally glance over what was going on at Marvel while focusing my attention on DC Comics. I'd catch up on the things that seemed interesting, like Zdarsky's Daredevil, Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk, and Donny Cates' Venom. These books helped me find an interest in wanting to read more Marvel. Not consistently, but it let me know that there is something really good cooking over there. One of the more intriguing parts of these books was the introduction of a character I had never heard of before called the Maker. He reminded me of Professor X's new look during the Krakoa age of X-Men. I knew him reading through Donny Cates' Venom and figured he was a cool looking character and that I'd love to see more of him. Next thing I know, he gained a symbiote and made it to the original Ultimate Universe, aka Earth 1610. After that, I stopped reading comics altogether for a while. Not for any reason, just never found a reason to pick them back up again. When I found out about the Ultimate Universe and I caught up with it back in January, I was excited to see the Maker as the main villain. Plus, the foundation was being laid by Jonathan Hickman, who had written some of Marvel's best comics in recent times. I was excited to see what the possibilities could be given the situation. We're a few months away from the 1-year anniversary of the Ultimate Universe, and I thought I'd ask myself, what do I think of the Maker so far? 2 words. Holy fuck! I can't even begin to describe my feelings towards this character in the wake of what we know. The Maker is one of the most fascinating characters I've seen out of Marvel. He's also an absolute prick who deserves nothing but the worst coming his way. Within the few issues we see or hear of the Maker in this universe, he has gone from being just another version of Reed Richards to a unique and dastardly villain that you love to hate. When the universe began, I wasn't in fear of what the Maker could do once he was freed. After what we've learned though, the danger is fully realized, and it excites me to wonder what's gonna happen if the Maker is free and the Ultimates fail to stop him. So, what have we learned about the Maker thus far? He's the Reed Richards of the original Ultimate Universe gone bad and has no desire other than to just go home. Now, how does Hickman take that and make him into an absolute nightmare? Simple. In the first pages of Ultimate Invasion, written by Jonathan Hickman, the Maker is held in captivity and is freed by a group of mercenaries consisting of individuals that he chose specifically. They bring him some items including his signature helmet and an unusual looking device. Once he is freed, he uses that device to take every one of those mercenaries and combines them into an exact look-alike of himself. Once the Earth 616 Reed Richards discovers this, the look-alike disintegrates and dies on the spot. Seeing these people have their bodies reshaped and stripped of their lives and free will is absolutely horrifying. The Maker sacrifices 5 lives so that he can get away scot-free because he doesn't care for anyone in this universe so long as he reaches his goal. In less than an issue, Hickman made me see the Maker as a true threat that must be contained. After this happens, he makes his escape to Earth 6160 and reshapes that world into his own image by messing with time. He orchestrates the assassination of JFK, becomes the first person to reach the moon, and establishes a shadow organization to rule over different territories in his name, changing the world as we know it. Reading all this made me realize one thing. Reed Richards can be pretty goddamn scary if he wanted to. This, however, isn't the end of the Maker's plans. In order to assure that his plans remain intact, he needs to eliminate the number one threat, the superheroes. One way or another, he does just that. He travels through time on the day Peter Parker was supposed to be bitten by the spider, and right before the spider bites him, the Maker captures it in a jar and keeps it in his vault. Peter Parker would go on to live a normal life and get married to Mary Jane while also having 2 kids. Okay, I know this doesn't sound all that bad, but trust me, the Maker is still a dickhead. In Ultimates number 1, written by Dennis Camp, the Ultimates seek out Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne to try and recruit them as members. It's here that we find out that Hank Pym isn't as smart as his 616 counterpart due to an accident that gave him brain trauma. Only, it wasn't an accident. Tony Stark reveals that the Maker tampered with Hank's brain and messed with him to think it was an accident. The Maker made so many people go through hell just so he could get his way. And yet, this still isn't the worst of it. Before the Maker escaped into Earth 6160, he was confronted by the Illuminati, which includes Earth 616's Reed Richards. He asks him, if you could do it all again, if you could truly change things, if you had the chance, would you erase me from existence? To which our Reed replies, yes. Maker responds with, I'll keep that in mind, before making his way into his new home. We find out later in the book that all members of 6160's Fantastic Four are dead with the exception of Reed Richards, who is listed simply as controlled. When the Maker introduces Howard Stark to Reed Richards, we find him with a mask very similar to that of Dr. Doom. He helps assemble the rest of the Ultimates team and tries to find methods to stop the Maker once and for all. From this point forward, Richards is helpful yet reserved, not conniving yet not all there either. There's an immense sadness and pain that emanates from Richards, who prefers to be called Doom. The question being, what happened? How did things end up this way? All would be answered in the Ultimates issue number 4, the issue that is responsible for the immense amount of vitriol and hate that I now have for the Maker. It all started off fine and how we know it. From an early age, Reed Richards was a smart kid. He enters college at an early age, becomes friends with Ben Grimm, and meets the love of his life in Sue Storm. Then comes that fateful moment where he goes into space with Sue, Ben, and Johnny, and the four of them meet the cosmic storm that transforms them into the Fantastic Four. At least, that's how it's supposed to be. Prior to this, Richards creates the calculations for safe travel into the cosmic storm. The Maker goes back in time and changes the calculations just a little bit. Now, when the four head into space, the unfortunate starts to happen. Johnny bursts into flames and dies on the spot. The three of them make it back to safety on Earth and proceed to get sent to jail for the rest of their lives. Ben Grimm never got to be a pilot, something he always dreamed of, and this was his chance. With the loss of Johnny, Grimm ends his own life by jumping into a giant crater, breaking his neck. In the years that followed, Sue Storm becomes affected by the radiation from the cosmic storm and dies in the hospital. The Maker then kidnaps Reed Richards and morphs him into a helpless individual, not only ruining his facial features, but performing a lobotomy on his brain, robbing him of his grand intelligence. The Maker ruined the life of not just Reed Richards, but many others, all for his selfish desires. Richards, now going by Doom, spends every day of his waking life in sadness, trying to find a way to end the Maker for good. Knowing how his family lives on in other worlds as the Fantastic Four, Doom tries to find a way to bestow the powers of his family by experimenting with lab rats. As of this recording, we don't know what Doom's full plan is. With his insistence on using the Immortus engine, the time machine that was being used by the Maker, the likely theory is that he will go back to when all four were still alive and give them these powers to create the Fantastic Four and change the future. To quote Doom himself, "When the mice stop dying, the Fantastic Four will return." Personally, since Dr. Doom in Earth 616 is known for being both a scientist and a sorcerer, I think it would be cool to see Doom learn some sort of sorcery in order to counter his tampered intelligence. It could be possible given that we haven't seen a lot of magic users in this universe and Doctor Strange is still held captive somewhere in this Earth. When it's all said and done though, the Maker is one of the most vile and evil people I have ever bared witness to in the Marvel Universe. By the time we see the end of the Maker, I only pray that Doom gets the final blow. It would be the most perfect ending. With that being said, I'm Jay Samra. Goodbye, sayonara, alvida, peace.